The World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. honors veterans from every state. It also directs special attention to some of the war's most significant events. Lloyd Howard served in Europe during the war and fought in the Battle of the Bulge.
It's quite emotional to me, some of it is. It's very emotional. Bring back a lot of memories of things.
Howard was one of 99 Oklahoma veterans who visited the memorial this week. It was the first stop on their honor flight tour. Howard shared his experiences about the battle that took place during the winter of 1944 to 45. 100,000 Americans were listed as casualties. More than 19,000 died.
When you're in battle, all you know is what you see going on right around you. And about 38 below zero, and about as many dead men as there was live men still moving around there. The ones that have been dead 2 or 3 days, they was covered with ice and snow. The ones that just got killed, they still laying on top of ice and snow.
Don Hatfield of Ponca City served in the 82nd Airborne Division in Europe. He nearly lost his feet to frostbite during the Battle of the Bulge. He says the memorial left him speechless.
We did something worthwhile at a cost. I don't think you can judge the cost. You can't judge death. Not that I know of.
Honor Flight organizers believe these men's experiences make them living textbooks on the war. For his part, Hatfield believes there should be much more education about World War II in Oklahoma schools.
It teaches us, whether we like it or not, to remember what it's all about. Because for me, I've raised a family. And I want them to know all about it, and they do, because I've told them.
The second stop on the veterans' whirlwind tour of the nation's capital was the Korean War Memorial. R.B. Noller of Midwest City enlisted in the service in 1941 and decided to make it his career. He served in the Air Force during the Korean conflict before retiring as a lieutenant colonel. He too believes young people are getting an inadequate education on the war.
We're just one generation from losing it all. Unless the younger generation pick up what we left, it's all over. It scares me to think of how close our country is to losing it. And it's certainly not anything like the founding fathers set up over the Constitution. We have lost that totally.
Bob Beecher served in the Marine Corps. He was stationed in the Pacific, transporting wounded out of the Solomon Islands. He says he knew men who just disappeared, friends he never saw again.
Such a tremendous cost. And most wars are not necessary. This one was.
Beecher explains that his experiences during the war colored his view of the world, but he says he still believes most conflicts between nations can be resolved before resorting to combat.
I just hope we don't have any more. And the world is a tinderbox, you know. But if the people up there in Washington are diplomatic, I think that they can avoid conflicts. Iran, Korea, they're blustering and talking, but I think if we use diplomacy, we can solve these problems.
Hundreds more Oklahoma veterans are already on the waiting list for the state's third honor flight to Washington, planned for next summer. The trip costs veterans nothing. Honor flight organizers solicit donations to pay the expense. Top priority is given to the most senior veterans, along with those who may be terminally ill. For ONR, I'm Lori Rasmussen.